More and more every day, people keep asking me if I have any news about the upcoming NCAA football video game, as we haven't heard anything in a few months. Well, today we got just that. We got some of the biggest news surrounding the game so far, and some other little tidbits of info to go over as well. And of course, if you always want to stay up to date with all of the latest developments surrounding the return of NCAA football gaming, or even Madden 24, which comes out in a few months, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on so you never miss any of these important videos when they go live. I bring you guys the info as soon as it drops so that you're always in the loop. So I wake up this morning and Twitter is just flooded with posts from sports analysts, from ESPN, from SportsCenter, you name it, about the upcoming NCAA football game. So I had to look into what was going on, as we hadn't heard anything since a few months ago. So we're going to head over to ESPN and we're going to read the latest developments surrounding the game and also talk about some other little tidbits of information that we recently found out as well. Here on ESPN it says, when the first version of a college football video game in years comes out next summer, the virtual likeness of actual players will be in the game. An EA Sports representative confirmed to ESPN on Wednesday that it is contracted with One Team Partners to facilitate collegiate athletes' name and likeness into the game, solving one of the major questions about college football's return to the video game space. The partnership will include the chance for all eligible FBS players to opt in to have their likeness in EA Sports College Football, the representative said. Those players will receive compensation for being placed in the game. Details such as how much an athlete will receive and the structure of payments are still being finalized, but the EA Sports representative said the goal is to be as inclusive and equitable as possible. On the One Team website, the company stated that if the influence of individual sales couldn't be figured out, including for video game licensing, then revenue will be divided equally among the athletes included in each licensing program. If a player does not want to be in the game, EA Sports will create a generic avatar and player in that athlete's place. For participating players, it is possible a face scan of their likeness could be in the game, the representative said, though not every athlete will receive a face scan because there are thousands of FBS players across the country. The representative said more than 120 FBS schools have committed to being in the game, along with all 10 FBS conferences and the college football playoff, with the goal remaining to have every FBS school in the game. When EA Sports announced the return of its college football series in 2021, questions surrounding name, image, and likeness were among the biggest needed to answer. At the time, Notre Dame was among a small number of schools that indicated through statements or news reports that it would not agree to participate until NIL compensation was worked out, which it now has been. Much has happened since many of those declarations, including the passage of NIL legislation and college athletes making money off their name, image, and likeness. A Notre Dame source told ESPN on Wednesday that the school had been in touch with EA Sports to help with NIL integration for the video game. It doesn't seem though that Notre Dame has made a decision on being in the game, but they likely will be in the game because their really only hang-up was they didn't want to be in the game until players could get paid, and now they can. Now we're going to continue on with the rest of the very important information and other tidbits that you need to know, but really quickly, here's a word from today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Raycon. As you can see, I have my black pair in right now. I've had these for a while, and the thing I personally love the most about Raycon is they're way more affordable than other brands on the market, but they still come with all of the same tech and features. They're so affordable that you can literally get a pair and a spare and still pay less than some of the big tech brands out there. And the quality is top notch. Raycon doesn't outsource the design and development of their earbuds. Their small but mighty team of design audio engineers cut their teeth at brands like Bose and Peloton. Now me personally, I love using my Raycons when I'm working out, jogging, or playing basketball out back because they have great noise isolation, which means I don't usually hear anything going on around me, but also they never fall out of my ear, which is a problem I've had with pretty much every other earbud on the market. And they come with a ton of customizable gel tips, so no matter what kind of ear you got, they're gonna have something that fits you right. And on top of all of that, they pack a lot of bass, which for me is very important in an earbud. Now with your purchase of the Raycon Everyday Earbuds, you're gonna get one pair of the Raycon Everyday Wireless Earbuds, plus 5 pairs of the silicone gel tips, one charging case for on-the-go charging, plus one charging cable cord. Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/RayWeather to get 15% off of your Raycon purchase. Now, all the news that we found out today is pretty huge because we knew that they were working on getting the name, image, and likeness for the football game, but there was still a possibility that they were not going to be able to get it, or at least get it in time. They were very confident that they were going to be able to get it. That's what they had been saying for months, but there was always that chance that there would be some hurdles that would take longer to get over, and that we would have a generic game with real teams, but not the real players. Well, now that they finally got this ironed out, we're definitely getting real players and even some real face scans in the game. Now, I believe they said they're not going to probably get the likeness for every single FBS player because it's tens of thousands of players. It's just not feasible for them to get every single player, but the goal is definitely to get the top half of players across all of college football, and they're definitely going to be getting player likeness for the cream of the crop because those are the players that's going to really help sell the games. Think of guys from this past season like Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, definitely the big name QBs, guys like Bijan Robinson. The top guys at every position, they're going to be trying to get the player likeness for those guys because it's going to look better in game, but also you have to figure that this can be used when they eventually get to the Madden game because the top college players are going to get drafted to the NFL, and even if they have a short-lived career, they're still going to be in the game for a few years, so they'll already have their player likeness. They may need to update the likeness depending on if they change up their look a little bit from college to NFL, but more than likely coming into the NFL and coming into the Madden game, they'll already have their likeness, which will actually be a huge plus because if you know with Madden lately, a lot of times when the game drops, most of the rookies don't have their player likeness. They'll have a few players, but usually we have to wait a month or two to get the big batch of rookie face scans and player likeness into the game. Now that'll be skipped because they can get these guys out of the way while they're still in college, and they'll already have it when they go to Madden, so that'll actually be a big plus. Now, since this article went live, EA Sports has actually just put out a recent statement right as I was recording this video, and they said, "We've wanted to feature collegiate athletes in a meaningful way from the start of our journey to bring an EA Sports college football experience back to our fans. We're excited to have an agreement in place with One Team partners that will enable us to include the names and likeness of eligible collegiate football athletes at the NCAA Division I football subdivision schools who opt into being featured in EA Sports college football." And the truth is, most of these players are going to opt in because they want to be in the game. These college players want to be featured in a video game. Some of these people may not make it to the NFL. Some of them will, but just having your name, image, and likeness featured in a video game for a teenager or a young adult is a pretty big deal. Most of these guys are going to want to be in the game. The only people that would maybe opt out are the players that are so big that they just demand so much money, and maybe EA just doesn't want to pay that money. But I think most of the deals will be reasonable. A guy like Caleb Williams right now would definitely get a decent sized bag because he's one of the best prospects we've ever seen. They'd probably pay him a fair amount to be in the game, and he would probably do it. But there's always that possibility that a guy might just want way too much, and they would just have to kind of take a step back and just say, we're not going to do it. But I don't think that is something that would be too common. Now, the guy that broke this article was asked a question on Twitter. Somebody asked about FCS options, and his reply was, "I've asked that question the last couple of times I've spoken with sources about the game. It's not being ruled out, but might not also be in year one or at launch. That's still to be determined based off conversations I've had. They are building it from scratch, so ... And they are building this game from scratch. They are using the Madden engine though, which definitely is worrisome for a lot of people, but I don't think the Madden engine in itself is as bad as people make it out to be. I think Madden is a bad game because Madden needs to be rebuilt. If they're building a brand new game with the Madden engine and they're taking 3+ years to build it, realistically, that should produce a much better product than Madden. The reason that Madden struggles is because it's 30+ years old. It has a lot of legacy code. It has a lot of cracks in the foundation, and they keep building on top of that. With NCAA, from my knowledge, that's not what they're doing. They're still building a brand new game, a brand new IP. They're just using the Madden engine. So if you put time, care, and effort into a brand new game, you can still use the Madden engine and have a good product. Now, whether or not it will be good, that we don't know. Obviously, with EA Sports, we have to not get our hopes up too high based off their last decade of sports releases, but they've also never really taken this much time and care to put into one single product. And they've they've constantly said the goal of this product is to be different than Madden. They don't want it to be a Madden clone or a reskin, and that's why we've heard all of the details that they've been gathering for this is on a whole nother level than Madden. All of the presentation and depth of this game will more than likely blow Madden away. Now, the gameplay would likely be similar, and that could turn some people off, understandably, but if the game has great depth and great presentation, that's what always sold NCAA anyway. The gameplay on NCAA was always very similar to Madden. The same bugs that Madden had, NCAA had. The same money plays, the same blitzes that worked in Madden would work exactly the same in NCAA, but where NCAA shined was the atmosphere, the presentation, and the depth of the offline modes, and if that's what they're trying to keep intact, which they say they are, then NCAA can still be a good product even if the gameplay isn't great. As always, I'm going to have a ton more news of this as the months go by because we're going to be getting a lot more news leading up to the eventual release of the game, so make sure to follow. And if you want to know all of the features that we pretty much know are going to be in the game at this point based off of leaks and things that EA Sports has said, you can check out this video right here on the screen where I go over all of them.